Ancient Rome in 150 AD was the beating heart of an empire that stretched from Britain to North Africa, from Spain to Syria.
Nearly 1 million people lived within its walls. It was the largest city on earth. Marble temples gleamed in the sun.
Aqueducts carried fresh water from distant hills. Emperors ruled from palaces above the city.
In this video, I use modern AI tools to bring historic paintings, engravings, and archaeological reconstructions to life.
We will walk through streets, climb hills, and stand in crowds that have been silent for almost 2,000 years. First, I want to talk about the Roman Forum. This view shows the Roman Forum around 150 AD, during the reign of Emperor Antoninus Pius.
The air is full of sound. Lawyers argue cases. Senators in togas move forward the curia.
Let the debate continue!
Over the centuries, the Forum would fall into ruin. By the Middle Ages, it became a pasture for cattle. Today, remarkably, you can still walk these same stones, surrounded by broken columns that once defined the center of the world. Now, this is the Colosseum. This view shows the Flavian Amphitheatre, completed in 80 AD under Emperor Titus. In the foreground, crowds gather beneath its towering arches. In the upper tiers rise in perfect symmetry against the Roman sky.
By 150 AD, the Colosseum had already hosted decades of spectacles. Gladiators fought here.
Exotic animals from Africa and Asia were hunted in staged forests. The crowd roared as steel met steel. The smell of sweat, sand, and blood mixed in the warm air. This was entertainment, but also control. The games reinforced Rome's power.
The Colosseum later suffered damage from earthquakes in 847 and 1349. Stones were taken to build churches and palaces.
And still it stands. Today, its arches frame the same sky, a reminder of both glory and brutality.
This view shows the Subura.
By the 2nd century, the Subura was one of Rome's most crowded neighborhoods. In the foreground, narrow streets twist between tall insulae, apartment blocks that rise 4 or 5 stories high. Laundry hangs from windows. Children run barefoot over uneven stones.
The air is thick with smoke from cooking fires. Bakers shout prices.
Blacksmiths hammer iron. The smell of sewage drifts through open drains. But they were dangerous. Fires spread quickly. In 64 AD, a great fire destroyed much of Rome, and although reforms followed, risk remained. Insulae sometimes collapsed. By law, height limits were imposed, but enforcement was uneven. Still, this was where ordinary Romans lived: freedmen, laborers, immigrants from across the empire. The Subura was loud, alive, and essential. Today, parts of this district survive in the Monte area. The streets are quieter now, but the foundations are ancient. This view shows the Pantheon. Rebuilt under Emperor Hadrian around 125 AD, the Pantheon stands with its massive portico and soaring dome. In the foreground, bronze doors reflect sunlight. In the midline, citizens gather beneath Corinthian columns.
Inside, light pours through the oculus. It moves slowly across marble floors as the day passes.
The air smells of incense and oil lamps. Priests perform rituals to the many gods of Rome.
Dominus vobiscum. Oremus.
The Pantheon was a symbol of unity. All gods under one roof. By the 2nd century, Rome embraced countless beliefs from across its empire. Unlike many ancient buildings, the Pantheon survived. Today, it remains one of the best preserved monuments of ancient Rome. This view shows the aqueducts approaching the city. By 150 AD, Rome was supplied by 11 aqueducts, including the Aqua Claudia and Anio Novus. In the foreground, arches stride across the countryside. In the midground, water flows silently through stone channels. Fresh water meant survival. Public fountains ran constantly. Baths operated daily. The sound of running water defined Roman life. But maintaining this system was a constant challenge. Earthquakes, sabotage, and neglect could interrupt supply.
The fractures run deep. We must shore it up.
When aqueducts were damaged during later invasions, the city's population collapsed. These arches still stand in parts of the Roman countryside. They remind us that engineering was the foundation of Rome's greatness and its vulnerability. This view shows the Baths of Trajan. By the early 2nd century, public baths were social centers. In the foreground, men and women move through vast halls. Steam rises from hot pools. The marble floors are wet and gleaming. Here, citizens bathed, exercised, and discussed politics. The smell of oils and perfumes fills the air. Slaves tend furnaces below, keeping water hot through hypercaust systems. But disease spread easily in crowded spaces. Just 15 years after 150 AD, the Antonine Plague would strike, beginning in 165 AD during the reign of Marcus Aurelius, killing perhaps millions across the empire. Today, bath ruins still rise above the city. Their scale tells us how central public life once was. This view shows the Circus Maximus. In the foreground, chariots line up at the starting gates. In the midground, teams in bright colors prepare for the race. By the 2nd century, chariot racing was Rome's most popular sport. Factions like the Blues and the Greens commanded fierce loyalty. The roar of the crowd could be heard across the city.
Races were thrilling and deadly. Crashes were common. Drivers were often slaves or freedmen seeking fortune. Political messages were sometimes shouted from the stands.
New day for Rome!
The Circus Maximus later fell into ruin. Today, it is an open field. But when you stand there, you stand where Rome once held its breath as horses thundered past. This view shows the Tiber River. In the foreground, barges unload grain from Egypt. In the midground, docks bustle with activity.
The Tiber was Rome's lifeline. Grain shipments fed the population.
But the river also flooded. Seasonal floods damaged homes and warehouses. Today, the Tiber still flows, the river that built Rome. This view shows the Praetorian Guards' camp. Established by Augustus in 27 BC, the Praetorian Guard protected the emperor. In the foreground, soldiers drill in armor. In the mid-boust, barracks stand in rigid order. They were protectors and kingmakers. By the 2nd century, they had already played roles in political intrigue, and their influence has only grown since then. We must proceed with caution. Emperors relied on their loyalty, but loyalty could be bought. The Guard would later auction the empire to the highest bidder in 993 AD after the murder of Pertinax. Today, little remains visible of their camp, but its shadow lingers in the story of imperial power. Finally, this view shows the Palatine Hill. By 150 AD, the Palatine was crowned with imperial palaces begun by Domitian. In the foreground, terraces overlook the Forum. In the midground, gardens bloom. In the background, Rome stretches to the horizon. This was the seat of ultimate authority. Decisions made here could mean peace or war. Beneath its luxury lay anxiety. Emperors feared assassination. Rumors spread quickly in a city of 1 million. They say the Pope's Guard is mobilizing.
Against whom? The French?
No, the Jacobites. We must be cautious. Over time, these palaces decayed. Earthquakes and neglect reduced them to ruins. Yet today, you can walk among their foundations and look out over the same city. 18th century Rome was magnificent, but survival was never guaranteed. Fire, disease, politics, and violence were constant companions.
And yet, life continued. Markets opened at dawn. Children played in alleys. Water flowed from fountains.
Through AI reconstruction, these silent images move again. Streets fill with voices, temples regain their color.
For a moment, the past feels close enough to touch. If there's another city, moment, or scene you'd like to see brought back to life, let me know in the comments. Again, thank you so much.